Hello, Nick Anderson here from the Fake News Media Editorial Cartoonist, and today I am going from my rough sketch, which is what this looks like. Pretty rough. My rough sketches take about 30 seconds to draw, and then I send them to an editor, and my editor at the Syndicate will often get back with me and tell me what she thinks, and then I have a handful of other people who I have on my email list, and they tell me what they think. And sometimes I'll do a few sketches. Lately, not as many. I'm kind of, with my new schedule, juggling multiple things. I have usually do one or two. I did two today. Actually, I'll post the other one to my website. So, as you can see, I kind of go from a real rough sketch to a little bit more polished sketch. Again, it's still pretty fast. Something like this where I'm just sort of laying it out isn't very time consuming. So what it might get a little bit more time consuming is getting into the detail of drawing the characters. So like this, I kind of, even though that took very little time, I kind of like the quality of it. So one of the things I try to avoid is losing the energy that the rough sketch sometimes has. When you go back and do the final or even a more refined sketch, you can kind of lose that initial magic. And although this sketch certainly doesn't look very refined, there's sort of a nice energy to it. So I'm going to try to preserve that. And you can tell some days I'll just feel really tight when I'm drawing and it just doesn't turn out as well. So I always try to keep my sketches loose, and my line art tends to reflect that. But even with that loose line art, it's still some days hard to keep that loose feel. But actually, I'm kind of liking today. It's kind of, I don't know. Well, I don't know. So this right here is the problem. The shape of his face, that's not really capturing the shape of his face. He's thicker than that. So I don't know that this is necessarily going to be a keeper or not, but you can kind of get an idea for where I'm going with it. This is, I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. We'll see. I'm going to keep going and see how this turns out. See, I like this part of it, the way his roly-poly body is coming out. I'm just not crazy about how his face is coming out. And normally I would do a more refined sketch and then put the ink over the refined sketch, but I'm kind of going straight to ink right now, and we'll see how that turns out. I'll bring up an example from yesterday, which is a little bit more complex drawing. This drawing, oh wait, that's the one I'm working on now. This one. So this one, because of the complexity of what's going on there, it took a lot longer to get it how I liked it. You can see multiple phases of my drawing, and this doesn't even include the rough sketch. And the reason I'm working, so like this layer, I'm just laying out where basically where the people are going to be, and I ended up changing that. So that I can delete, and then I have the text in there. So you can see the reason I kept this all on separate layers is I wanted to draw Trump without having to worry about what the other people around him looked like. And then I drew the people around him, again with that layer. Drew the people around him. See, that's the sketch, and then the ink over the sketch, and I delete the sketch part, and I'm left with the ink, and then I go into Corel Painter and I color it. So yesterday's was a lot more involved, a lot more going on in that composition. Today's is simple, so that makes it a heck of a lot easier, and I'm more likely to just skip over the intermediate step of sketching in order to just go right to the ink. And I may end up deciding I don't like it, I'm not sure, but it's worth a try to just, in order to save time, to just try going right into the ink. And I think I will probably keep part of this. And this cartoon is in reference to Giuliani's disclosing last night that Trump knew about the Cohen payment to Stormy Daniels, even though he had been lying and denying it for weeks, if not months. And so now they seem to have, it would seem like a gaffe at first. I thought it was a mistake. I thought he was just made a huge mistake, but it turns out to be a new legal strategy. So I have him running between these cones. The guy is zigzagging constantly between legal strategies. And his doctor, his crazy doctor, is over here saying, see, I told you he was nimble. He didn't actually say that, but it kind of paraphrases what his crazy doctor had said. So, it's one thing you can do in a cartoon. You can paraphrase. Because it's not a direct quote, I don't have it in quotes. People understand that it's a paraphrase of what his doctor said. I don't really like that. So, I didn't really like how I shaded that. It just looked a little too heavy. Anyway, I may not make this video too long. Just keep it quick and short. And I will post the finished cartoon below the YouTube video so you can see how it turned out. I may do another separate video of me coloring it. This one is not going to be particularly time consuming to paint, to digitally paint, because again it's pretty simple, and I may end up leaving a lot of this area white just to pop out what's going on with the characters. Anyway, stay tuned for more. Thank you for tuning in.